We have Davinci in the studio.
Hey, yes.
It's good to have you. We had a little bit of a discussion about all the gadgets that you found on my desk.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot of cool stuff. I'm going to have to pilfer some of this stuff. Well, not pilfer it from you, but buy it exactly on my own. But maybe you can get me some of it as a gift.
And we were talking the other day, we were saying, how is it possible we have not made a podcast yet? I mean, in years that we known each other.
Exactly, I know. Well, I'm here now, so let's get on with it, man. It's going to be a great podcast. So I was a software developer since I was 11 years old. My first computer was a VIC-20, and I moved on to Commodore 64. VIC-20 only had 5K RAM, and a Commodore 64 had 64K. But those were like nothing in memory, right? I mean, like 5K. An email wouldn't even fit on a VIC-20.
That was the days.
Exactly. And today's images, wouldn't fit on a Commodore 64, right? Because on a 64K of RAM, you'd have to shrink it down to the really, really tiny size. Yeah. Then I moved on to, IBM-based computers, and where the 640K was like bottomless. It was Bill Gates who said, who would need more than 640K of RAM? And now on our iPhone, we're complaining that Apple keeps sticking with what? 4 gigs or 6 gigs, I think it is. And all the other applications have 12 or something crazy, right? Gigabytes.
Insane. If you think about in the past 10 years, the amount of progress tech made is just mind-blowing.
Exactly. And so, I started doing YouTube when I realized that our financial system was a scam. It transfers wealth from the poor and the middle class to the rich. And I wanted to let people know how to avoid that scam. And that led me to somebody pointing out Bitcoin. And then once I saw it and I researched it and I realized, oh my God, this is revolutionary. This is going to work. And we're getting in at the ground floor. I was like, damn. I don't know, you don't know this, but I was constantly talking about it at work to anybody who would listen. I would talk your freaking ear off about how great this technology is and go on about how it's going to change humanity in ways that you wouldn't believe, how it is going to be a solid way to ensure that money is fair and honest, and how this is going to expand humanity's capabilities, everything. Because one of the things I learned when I studied how money works is I went through the monetary history. I went through the history of money, and I learned that we've used this kind of money before. And it always ends in tears and wealth destruction, and for the majority. And whenever we switch to a good money system, then all of a sudden, society grows. Society starts to create great works of art, new technology. Science improves and expands. Because now, when you're producing something, you're producing it for money that's hard, tangible value. And once you do have that hard, tangible value, you're not quick to give it up for something that's cheap, like Chinese goods.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And by the way, guys, we talk about it on your channel. I don't know if you can see it, but read this book, Bitcoin Standard. It changed my life completely. And they talk about it a little bit about how, the monetary system allows society to grow and flourish. I completely agree. For me, the mind-boggling part is that you have to go and dig what money is, because whatever we've been given, whatever we've been told, it's a bunch of lies, right? So that's crazy.
Exactly. A lot of things that we've been told in school has been lies, or you've been taught only to focus on answering the question the right way, even if you realize it's wrong, the right way they want it to be. Even though you realize that the answer in the textbook is completely incorrect, it doesn't matter. The reason why is because this is the way they want it. They want you to be a worker bee who just does what he's told and believes what he's told, and that's it.
Yeah, easy to control, right?
Exactly. And so what I would suggest people do is you look into Stoic philosophies and how great leaders like Marcus Aurelius, who followed the Stoic philosophy because he focused in not on any particular religion or anything that he can't control. He focuses on himself and making himself the better person every single day, because that's the only thing he could ever control.
I like it.
Is himself. And I've started studying that, and I realized it's a whole thing that they should be teaching this in school, because man, your life will improve 1,000-fold if you learn this stuff. I just started learning it recently.
If you don't control yourself, how you can control anything else in life?
Exactly. Right? And that's the only thing you can control.
That's a really good point. You basically saw a problem in the monetary system. You start studying it. You stumble across Bitcoin. And then what happened? You started mining, right?
Well, I first did a video saying, every once in a while, something comes along that makes poor people rich. This is one of them. I did my best to explain it. I thought I was going to be the hero of my community. And that video got so much dislike, so much hate, that I believe it got taken down by YouTube because I can't find it anymore. Hated to the max. And everybody thought I was trying to scam them, cheat them. And I kept at it because I was like, well, clearly I didn't explain it right.
This was 2010?
2011.
2011, okay.
I didn't take the offense in a sense that they were being mean to me. I took offense and I felt that I wasn't doing something right. I wasn't explaining it correctly. I wasn't showing them how the value is, right? So I tried different angles at explaining it to. I even uploaded a video of somebody else explaining Bitcoin. And that video is still up there of someone else completely explaining it. And that has a lot of views. You could check that out on my channel, Davinci J15 on YouTube. And I kept at it. And finally, I was so frustrated. I said, listen, if you really think I'm going to rob you, I've done a lot of cool giveaways on my channel, right? And I'm going to do one right now. And I did a video saying, hey, listen, if you buy Bitcoin, spend up to $1,000 on Bitcoin at $1, and you save that for your future, if it goes to zero, I will pay you back, right? And only 5 people took me up on that offer. And of those 5, 2 of them thanked me very much and even gave me 2 of them gave me 100 Bitcoin, right? And one of them gave me 1 Bitcoin.
Of course, your video now has got millions of views and has been up since early days. And of course, you are a legend. But think about how much friction you have to go through. Really hard. So when people say, oh, I missed the boat, it's early, right?
Very early, because Bitcoin's not money yet. It's not used in your daily life. But once that happens, it's too late. Now you're too late. But you're not too late now. You are watching this and it's not too late. You can actually buy Bitcoin right now and wait for it to become money, and you'll be extensively rich. You'll be one of the few 1%ers, right? Once our current financial system comes to an end, you want to be on that side of the ledger. So, as simple as that. Just buy some Bitcoin, put it away, forget about it. One of my ex-girlfriends, and she forgot about some Bitcoin and some other cryptos that, I'd purchased for her. She lost the passwords, and I said I kept it because I knew she would. And I opened up her account. I told her first, before I opened up her account, I said, you're a millionaire.
She doesn't even know.
She's like, what? Yeah. I didn't even have to look. Even though she only spent like $3,000, right? And I opened up the account. Yeah, she had $1.2 million worth of crypto.
Technically, this is the most simple thing you have to do. You need to buy and forget about it for 10 years or whatever the time frame. I mean, not 1 month, of course, but let's say a couple of cycles, right? Just to be safe.
Exactly.
Then it's done. But people try to, catching falling knife, and they just go in and they trade with leverage and they lose everything. Guys, just buy and hold.
That's it. That's it. It's the easiest thing and the hardest thing at the same time. Why is it hard? It's because you're looking at the price and you're going, oh my God, I lost so much today, when there's a bear market. Yeah, it's going to happen. And just, you know what? Instead of looking at it as I've lost so much today, oh, my asset that I'm going to use for my retirement just went on sale. And it's going to make me I'm going to get even more. And I'm going to be even richer. That's the truth about it going down. Because all the idiots are selling, right? Right?
They're selling to us.
Yeah, selling to you.
Exactly. Look at the bottom, right? Okay, we've gone through, let's call it 70K, the top in the previous high. Now we're going to go into a new bull run starting when the halving begins in April next year, whenever it's okay. But that means that the next bottom is going to be somewhat in the 60 to 80,000. I mean, depends. So then every single previous top becomes a bottom. So if you measure the bottoms as opposed to the tops, this thing is going up.
Exactly. We're getting higher lows, right, on a yearly basis. If you look at a Bitcoin on a yearly chart, it's always going up. Why look at it any other way? And why watch the day-to-day? Just the day-to-day is only giving you opportunities to buy more. That's it. When it goes down, like, yeah, when someone comes to you and say, how's that Bitcoin going? I heard this went down. Really? Okay. Thank you. I'm going to get some more. Right?
Yeah,
Treat it like that and you will not regret it.
That's exactly the game. So the game is to have a long vision, accumulate as much as you can. It's going to be very emotional. This asset kicks like crazy, goes up and down and swings, but it's a good sign. It means it's alive. So the way I see Bitcoin is, like you said, like throw money in there, wait a long period enough, and then get the rewards, because they will come.
Exactly. Just wait a long enough period and you will reap huge benefits. It's going to be an incredible ride, of course, but you will do well in the end.
So you said when you uploaded the video, you got a lot of hate and people saying, hey, this is a scam, da, da, da. What made you keep going through the hate?
I just felt that I didn't explain myself. That's all. I just felt that, I wasn't, I knew that this was going to work. I said, okay, well, maybe you just don't understand that, can you imagine taking a bunch of money, wealth with you across the borders? No one can smell it, taste it, see it, or anything. No one can take it from you. And you can buy whatever you want, wherever you are. So try to do that with dollars. Try to do that with gold. Try to do that with silver. You can't. An example of that is when I came here in Dubai and I moved here and I decided to move here, I had to go and get all my gold and silver that was in Chile. I didn't want to bring all that, right? So I had to sell it, right? I sold it and got Ethereum, but I still had a lot of collectible items that I didn't want to sell, obviously, because you're just getting a melt price or less, right? And so I had to bring those. And when I brought them, they tried to confiscate it at the airport when I got here in Dubai. And I was panicking, right? I was there in the customs office for quite some time, freaking out because I don't have an inventory of all the stuff that's here. Right?
Yeah, they'll take it and that's it. It's a game over, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't, yeah.
And so after a while, I was trying to explain to the guy, listen, I'm not trying to sell this stuff, right? I'm going on as a guy who bought Bitcoin at $1, right? And so I have money and I don't wish to sell gold. And he's like,
I've seen it before. Wow, amazing.
And then he was like, yeah, go on. And that I was so happy about that, of course. But I that was just luck. If I was anybody else, I would have lost a lot of gold and silver, and it would have been a pain in the butt to get it back, right? At the worst, best case scenario, right? To get back would have been an absolute nightmare because I didn't have an inventory of it. Thank goodness, right? I'm famous, but that's an example of why you need to have Bitcoin. Why Bitcoin is so much better than our current money, because you can't, even as a super rich person, fly on private jet with millions of dollars. Because if you did, you'd go straight to jail. Do not pass go.
And confiscate everything. I remember I was telling you the story, right? Like when I was in London, I was there. I kind of start looking into the finance system and what is money, what is not, what are assets, and so and so. So I contacted this company. There is like a private company. They sell gold and silver. So I went to see the office, it seemed legit. So I purchased some gold, right? And then everything through, papers, I signed documents, and then he said, come back tomorrow, I'll show you where the cavo is and everything. So I go back next day, still thinking, am I okay? Because, I've not seen anything, but everything seems to be okay. The person was recommended by another friend who's done it before, so it was kind of safe-ish. Yeah. Then I go back the next day and he said, okay, so here's the photo. Actually, there was a webcam. Here, as you can see the camera, and your gold is into that thing, in box over there. And the old cavo is guarded by a guy with a gun. And I said to him, well, but then you have my gold. I don't have it. Like, it's your guy with the gun. It's your cavo. I can't even see it. I can't even touch it. So is it mine? Really?
Exactly. So yeah, even like gold that's stored is not really yours. If it's not in your hands, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And that same applies with Bitcoin, right? If you don't hold it, you don't own it. Doesn't matter how safe your exchange is, how much they've provided audit information. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. And the reason why they do KYC is not because governments want to make sure that you're not doing money laundering. No, it's done for two reasons. One, to make sure you're paying taxes, and two, when it becomes time for the government, when the government runs out of money because they can't print anymore.
They go through the list.
Oh, by the way, I heard that you've got some Bitcoin. Why don't we give you some dollars or some local currency for that? We're not going to steal it. We're not thieves here. Come on.
Yeah.
We're going to give you some currency that we can print. And we give you that. And we'll just take those Bitcoins because, it's too volatile. It's dangerous for you. Dangerous.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you, but I mean, one of the reasons why I moved to Dubai is because of you guys, right? I remember watching your videos and you moving to Dubai. And I remember talking to Claudia and I was telling her, look, the HMRC, which is the tax authority in the UK, they made an agreement with Coinbase because that was the one that I was using back then. And basically Coinbase, once every 6 months, was sending all the data to the HMRC, which is the tax authority in the UK. So they know every single transaction. And out of that, they came out two, I don't know if they made them law in the end, probably not, but they proposed these two things. And when I read they wanted to propose them, I was like, I'm packing, I'm leaving. One was basically for each transaction you made, for example, let's say you transfer some pounds, British pounds, and you buy some Bitcoin. Then 1 week later, you sell Bitcoin for USDT. Then you change it for a Cardano, for Solana. For every exchange, there is a tax. It's a taxable event, which is insane. The second thing was they wanted to tax unrealized profits. For example, you bought Bitcoin at $1,000. Now it's 20K. I don't care if you sold it or not. You are in profit. Give it.
Hook me up.
What? So I remember reading the newspaper and packing at the same time, saying, Claudia, we're leaving because things have gone bananas. Like unrealized profits. I've not sold anything.
They should do that for houses too. Imagine that.
Imagine. I mean, people are going to be forced to sell everything. So in other words, they want you to sell the good things you have in exchange for rubbish, which is fiat currencies, and they keep the assets.
If you sell the asset and get taxed, right, and they take their possession, their point of it, you can't buy that asset back again. What?
Yeah, they have the asset.
What?
They give you fiat.
You sell a house and you want to buy the same house again, you can't because, they took up.
From their perspective, it makes sense. Like, that's taxes. I get it. But tax me on something I haven't even sold yet, that's like another level of evil. Because then you, of course, are forcing me. Because what I can do, I can say, okay, well, if I don't want to pay taxes, I can simply hold my asset for longer until I plan to relocate overseas or do whatever I want. But if you tax me the unrealized profit, then I have to sell it. I don't know if you know, but in the UK, inherited tax, 40%.
That's insane.
This
because
is
the
best
person's
part.
already paid taxes on the assets that he's purchased.
Exactly. Isn't that crazy? You go to work, half of your money go to taxes. I mean, depending on your salaries, but let's call it over 120K in the UK, 50%. So I was in that bracket. So you go to work, half is taxes. With the half that you save, you buy an asset. It could be a property, it could be whatever. Then you pass away. you give it to your children's 40%. And guess what? If they don't have the money to basically pay, they confiscate the property, take the 40% and give you the fiat, which is basically all the rubbish. It's like, the whole thing is just insane when you look into it. And for me, I mean, I didn't discover Bitcoin as early as you did. And one reason is because I was like under the impression, I was like, okay, I have a good job in the UK. I'm a taxpayer. You know, I have some money in the bank account, because this is what I thought it was normal. You know, you go to work, you got a good money coming in, park them in the bank, and you're okay. But then that's not what you do entirely, because all the money you have in the bank, first of all, the bank doesn't have it, because they do God knows what with it. And also they depreciate in value. So how do you defend yourself? Well, you have options. Like you said, you have assets, you have gold, you have silver, you have real estate, but you can't take them with you. I'm sure you've seen with all those terrible things happening in the world right now, if one country goes in war with another country, they will take away your properties.
Exactly.
Bye-bye. So you don't own it.
Ciao. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Thank you very much. I'll confiscate this.
Yeah, and Bitcoin is the first unconfiscatable asset. They can't just come and take it, whilst everything else they can, right? And some people say, well, wait a second, they could just steal your seed phrase. Yes, they can, but you could also memorize it, right? Or I even put it on passphrase where you are the only one who knows how to get the access to the money that you store on Bitcoin's hardware wallets. So rolling back to when I was explaining how Bitcoin works, a lot of people would do videos back in 2011, specifically making fun of me.
Wow, I didn't know that.
There was hundreds of them. It was unbelievable. Like I was like the craziest person on the planet, right? So that they all had to make fun of me. It was just nonstop coming at me, videos after videos, and I can't find any of those now. Right?
I wonder why.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've leaned into some of those jokes, right? It's like, oh, can you give me a Bitcoin, right? And somebody's like would have their hands out, and I go, here you go, like putting nothing in their hands. See, I got a Bitcoin, right? And making that kind of joke, silly jokes like that. But yeah, I mean, people just didn't want to realize that. Do you have dollars? And people would say, yes. Where? In my pocket. Really? So all your money's in your pocket? No, it's in the bank. Can I see it? No. It's digital. That's what Bitcoin is.
Yeah. Do you know, like the magician, when they go, look at his hand, and then they do stuff with the other hand? I think banks are doing the same. Like when I try to speak to quote normal people about money and the monetary system and everything, they say to me, yeah, but look at the app, look at the balance. It's like, yeah, but it's just a number.
Exactly.
They don't have that number.
I know, exactly. And the difference between that, and you could say, well, I could look at my balance on Bitcoin on an app too. Yes, the difference is a mathematical algorithm that's an absolute. So no one can cheat and change what that balance is. Whilst you can say, I can technically, right? I used to have the skills to do this. Go in, hack into a bank account, and change that number at any point in time. Now, of course, once they find out, they'll come after you, right? But that's possible because of the design of their particular ledger system. It's like it's just a database record of you have this much, and I have that much, and I can change those numbers very easily. So that's their system, and it's only defended by law. That's it. And so when you compare that, so that means that they can just like change the numbers instantly anytime they want. And you compare that to a system where you can't change the numbers anytime they want, remotely, whatever. There you have it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, okay, it was 2011. You put out some videos. People hated it because they couldn't understand. Those videos are gone. Who's laughing now, by the way? Success is the best revenge. And then you didn't give up. I love about it. You kept going. You were so committed to the Bitcoin that you thought, I'm not explaining it correctly. So let me find someone else who does so that I can propagate the message as much as I can. Where have you seen the switch from your audience from 2011? How long it took for some people to actually say, wait a second, this is actually interesting?
I would say 2013, more people got on board and started believing what I had to say in 2013, more so because it was the next bull run. As the bull run was happening, and after Bitcoin had a bull run in 2011 to $32, and that yeah, I even bought the top of that $32, and then it crashed down to $2. And then it ran up to 266, crashed down to 50. And then that end of 2013, it ran up to the $1,300. And that's when I started noticing a little bit of a change in the winds. So yeah, I remember that was a sort of a turning point, right? Where I was seeing more people supporting Bitcoin than I was seeing hating it. So for me, at least. And yeah, even though there was a lot of average Joe people who were just sideliners and who were like hating on me, especially like I loved it when I was doing well, and then when it started going down and went down to 800, I got people messaging me and going out say, so how's those Bitcoins going?
Yeah. I would love to see them in the comments now, by the way. I remember talking to you a couple of years ago and telling you my story. Got into Bitcoin in 2013. I've done so many mistakes. I've lost everything. Not your keys, not your coins. I would never forget to repeat that, because if you don't have custody, then you might as well keep the money in the bank. It's the same thing.
Exactly.
So I remember telling you the story, and it's funny because I remember telling you, I think 2013, I think it's gone from, like you said, 300 to over 1,000, end of 16, beginning of 17, and still, which was a few years back, there was a lot of hate still in social medias, in videos, and people didn't quite comprehend it as good as maybe we do, because we are invested, we are on it every day, follow the news, follow the price, follow what happens, fundamentals. Like you were telling me the other day, what, 4% of the people own Bitcoin or somewhere near that?
It was actually 2%, it's 4% in total in crypto.
Definitely an opportunity, for sure, like you were saying.
Yes, a big opportunity. One of the biggest opportunities of a lifetime, even now, as you're thinking you missed the boat, because how could it go any higher? No, it's going a whole lot higher, because it has to be money. It's going to be money. And if it's going to be money, it has to have a way higher valuation. And so, yeah, this is an opportunity of a lifetime, because unlike any other asset that's produced by men on this planet, this asset is needed by every single person on the planet. And it is 50% of all transactions, or 50% of all valued assets. Everything you could think of, your camera, your phone, your cup, right? Your desk, right? The monitor you're looking at. It's all, if you take the value of every single thing, from the clothing, everything to services, and add it all up, the other side of that is money. Money has to be the same value as your same assets. So imagine that, where Bitcoin has to go in order for it to have that same valuation. There you go.
Yeah, insane. I mean, plus now we have all these ETF coming in, and they will get approved sooner or later. Halving is coming, which sometimes people miss to understand that halving means chop of the supply, which means on a daily basis, miners are producing Bitcoin, solving problems to produce Bitcoins. Every 4 years, half. So, okay, maybe you could argue now there is most of them already out in circulations, but every day there's going to be less and less and less Bitcoin.
Yeah, they're going to be producing every 10 minutes, only next year, 3.125 Bitcoin. So yeah, it's going to be a lot less supply. In fact, after this happening, we might not see another bull run in the next 4-year cycles, because of the effect of the inflation is going to be irrelevant, because after this happening, the incoming supply will only equal to less than 1.8% of what's existing. So yeah, how much can it possibly? Once it gets lower than that, right? By the time the next 4 years comes around, it'll be less than 1%. Will it impact the price? Probably not, because it's insignificant. So we might see cycles get expanded out over 8 years instead of
4. Like you said, throughout the years, we've seen so many different kind of layers. There is also a website who shows how many times people have declared Bitcoin dead, which is funny. I'll link in the comments down below. But it's fascinating to see. I mean, you basically seen it from the beginning, from 2009 all the way through. And I think now we are into a pivotal moment where, if you look into the news now, some news are bullish, some are bearish, depending on what you read. But there are people calling for 9,000 Bitcoin, and they're waiting for it. As well as I remember back in 2017, they were waiting for 1,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, there's a meme going on of a skeleton on his keyboard and mouse waiting for Bitcoin to drop to 9K. Yeah, you're going to be waiting a long time until you're dead.
Yeah. No, but there's a CME gap there. And the thing is, it's so, like you said, it's so simple and yet so complicated, because based on my experience, of course, one of the most difficult things is not even to come up with a plan, but to put the plan in action, right? And if the plan means buy every single, whatever, month, week, whatever you can afford consistently throughout the bear market, and then when the price appreciates, some of it you can sell if you want to accumulate, or you can keep it, whatever, it's hard. If you measure the bottom, then it's a win situation, because it's going up. It's going up.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I agree. There is nothing else that you can own truly that it appreciates as much, because everything else, there could be a competitor you don't own. Someone else has.
So true.
So at the end of the day, it's one of those things. What would you say to someone who decides in November 2023 to jump into crypto with no experience whatsoever? What would be your one thing?
Start the dollar cost averaging. Start just buying, leaving it on exchange for now, and then learning all the rest later.
That's a fantastic advice. You said something earlier which made me laugh, and you said, I bought the $32 stop. Right?
Yes, I did.
I mean, let it sink for a minute. $32 stop.
Yeah, so people were laughing at me.
Like Michael Saylor says, I will buy every single top consistently, because he understood that it doesn't matter. If your time frame is long enough, you will then be in profit. You just need to be patient and keep accumulating, which is super hard, because nobody wants to buy Bitcoin at 15,000, 16,000, 20,000. They want to buy it at 100,000.
And my second best advice for people is that once you do take possession of your Bitcoin, do not try to earn interest on your Bitcoin. Try to create more Bitcoin by gambling it. That is just dumb.
Why? I mean, I don't want to name any companies, but I remember discussing with a friend of mine, and I was telling her, why would you risk your custody of your asset to get 10% a year? Bitcoin goes 5% in an hour, just don't be too greedy, return on average on Bitcoin every year is amazing as it is. You don't have to drop on top another 10% to be super greedy, like you said. Just chill, keep custody and wait, right?
Exactly. You learned that the hard way.
I did. But Davinci, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Finally, we've done a podcast.
Yes.
Guys, remember to go and check Davinci's. I'll leave in the comments down below all the links for your Instagram, your Twitter, your YouTube.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Peace.